Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Crack J in English, the channel of an academy. And I am Jitendra Dikshit. Here is my profile, so let me give you my short introduction. I have done my BTech from IIT Kanpur and I have been mentoring IIT JEE aspirants for last 11 years. So I teach mathematics and we were doing graphs. Okay, so I'll continue graphs. So in previous session, we started graphs of greatest linear function, transformation of graphs, when you put greatest linear function on fx. And today we'll learn and x also we did, so we'll do some examples of that. And today we'll see how to transform the graph when you put greatest linear function on y. All right, so before we begin, let me tell you about an Academy subscription. So as you know, Academy is India's largest online learning platform, and once you get the subscription, there are two types of subscription, Plus and Iconic. So let me tell you about the Plus subscription. So when you take the Plus subscription, you get access to daily live classes of all the educators, all physics, chemistry, and maths. And you can follow educators of your choice. So many courses are going on, and every week there are many courses starting. So you can join a fresh course, or you can already ongoing course you can join. Yeah, and if you miss something, you can watch offline videos also, because everything is recorded. So you can watch recorded videos. You can even you can download those videos and watch them offline. All right. And if you don't have any subscription, then you can attend special classes. Special classes are completely free. All right. So every day, many educators are taking special classes on the platform. So you can just go and attend those classes. Now, this was about the subscription of Plus. So this is unlimited access you are getting here, and all tests and quizzes will also be accessible to you. And all the courses are well structured, pre-planned. Everything is pre-planned, so you get to know the information of all the upcoming lectures in well advance. Now, 12 months price is 38,500, and after 10% discount, it's 34,650. You can use this code JEET1 and get 10% discount instantly. Similarly, for 24 months, it is 56,000. All right, and after 10% discount, you'll have to pay 50,400. The next is Iconic subscription. All right, so in Iconic subscription, you get all the benefits of Plus. First of all right, so whatever I've told you in Plus, like unlimited access, you'll get that in Iconic subscription as well. Everything whatever you are getting in a Plus subscription. Apart from that, you'll get a personal coach who will guide you throughout your preparation for top exams. Your test analysis will be done in a personalized manner. Personalized feedback will be given to you to improve your time management and exam approach. And your study planner will also be customized, okay, and bi-weekly reviews will be given to highlight your progress. Now these are the charges for Iconic subscription. 56,000 for 1 year. All right, and 10% discount you'll get. Use this code, so you'll have to pay 50,400, and similarly 86,000 for 2 years, and again you'll get 10% discount, so you'll have to pay 77,400. Use this code, okay, JEET1. Now you can download an Academy's learning app from Play Store and start learning. All right. So we have already done a lot of transformations so far, and today we will continue with greatest integer function. So this was the transformation when you put greatest linear of x, greatest linear function on fx, and then we transformed x by greatest linear of x. So we plotted the graph of y is equal to f of greatest linear of x. This was the example in the end we took in our last session. All right, and after that we'll continue. Okay, so I'll give you more examples first of all. So based on this, I'll do the quick revision of that. So y is equal to f of greatest integer of x. Okay, when you need to plot this graph, then you need to plot when in these intervals, when x belongs to 0 to 1, you need to plot f of 0 only. Y is equal to f of 0. It's a constant horizontal line, right? So when x belongs to 1 to 2, you need to plot f of 1. All right, when x belongs to 2 to 3, you need to plot f of 2, and so on, right? Similarly, before that, when x belongs to -1 to 0, you need to plot f of -1. All right, so like that you can plot. Now let's take one example. Okay, so we need to plot the graph of y is equal to 2 raised to x when x is more than or equal to 0. Alright, so let's plot it. One minute. Let me check whether we are recording or not. Yeah, cool. Perfect. Alright, so let's start. First, let me plot the base graph. Okay, even if you don't plot, even if you want to skip it, you can skip it. Alright, there's no problem. But it would be good to show you with the base graph. So base graph I am plotting with this green color. Alright, that's it. The pattern will remain same, right? Okay, so you can see, because you need to plot it only after 0. So this graph is going to be basically, this is going to be f of 0, as I told you, right? F of 0, when f of 0 means 2 raised to 0, right? 2 raised to 0. Fx is basically 2 raised to x. Okay, this is the base graph. So f of 0 is this. So in 0 to 1, you need to plot this. Let me mark it with white color. So this is your f of 0. Oh, I'm sorry. This is your f of 0. Now then this is your f of 1, then this is say your f of 2, then this is say f of 3, and this is your f of, okay, this interval seems f of 4 and so on. Okay, so this value f of 0 is 1, right? So you need to plot f of 1. F of 0 means 1. Then f of 1 is basically 1. So check this, y is equal to 2 raised to x. So if you put 1 in this, it is 2, right? So this is going to be 2. This is going to be 2. Then you need to plot f of 2. F of 2 is going to be 4, right? If you put 2 in this, it is going to be 4. This value is 4, it will be slightly up. So let me correct it. This exponential graph will increase fast. It should be like this vertical. Okay, like this. Okay, now it will look good. Okay, so f of 2 is 4. So you have now you are plotting now 4. Okay, like this. This is 4. Now f of 3 is what? F of 3 is 8, right? So you'll continue with this 8 line, and then you can see it will be 16. Okay, so it will keep going, so like that. So in this way, as 2 raised to x is increasing, so 2 raised to greatest integer of x will also be increasing, okay, in the similar way, like 2 raised to x is increasing. So this is the graph. Just a moment, guys. Okay, so next example is one more example and then we'll start new transformation. So y is equal to greatest integer of x square minus 2 times of greatest integer of x. In this, I'm not going to plot the base graph, okay? So directly you can start. So you first try it, then I'll tell you how to start. Try it for a minute. All right, so let's plot it. So what I was saying is, in this case, I'm not going to plot the base graph like x square minus 2x, which is x square minus 2x. In this case, I'm just writing the values directly. So when x belongs to 0 to 1, okay? When x belongs to 0 to 1, greatest integer of x will be 0. So this value is going to be 0. Y is equal to 0, you need to plot, right? When x belongs to 1 to 2, 1 to 2, greatest integer of x will be 1. So 1 square minus 2 is minus 1, okay? When x belongs to 2 to 3, greatest integer of x will be 2. Greatest integer of x will be 2. So this is 4 minus 4, 0. When x belongs to 3 to 4, okay? When x belongs to 3 to 4, that is going to be 9 minus 6. 9 minus 6. 9 minus 6 is 3, 3, 3. 9 minus 6, yeah, 3. All right. When x belongs to minus 1 to 0, then it is going to be minus 1 and minus 1 is square, and then this is going to be 3, right? When x belongs to minus 2 to minus 1, then it is going to be minus 2 and minus 2 square is 4, and 4 plus 4 is 8, okay? 8. So these are the lines you need to plot, okay? That's it. So I'll plot the axis. Now I can plot these lines, right? Easily, like greatest integer function. But it will not be always increasing. It will be increasing, decreasing according as the base graph, okay? Which is x square minus, like parabola. So between 0 to 1 it is 0 only. 0 to 1 it is 0. So 0 to 1, 1 is open. 1 is open, okay? Then 1 to 2 it is minus 1. 1 to 2 it is minus 1. This is 2. And then 2 to 3 it is 0. So 2 to 3 it is 0. All right, like this. Then 2 to 3, and then 3 to 2 to 3, 2 to 3, and then 3 to 4, okay? 3 to 4 it is going to be 3. So it is going to be 3 directly. and so on. It will keep increasing. If you put 4 to 5, then it is going to be 4 square minus 8, so it will be 8 only, right? So after that it is going to be 8 if you want to find out this value, and it is going to be symmetric left and right. About this, there will be some vertical line about which it will be symmetric. So this is 4 and this is 5. Not exactly symmetric, but yeah, you'll get the same values, you can say, mostly. So in -1 to -1 to 0, -1 to 0, it is -1 to 0, you can see is 3. So this value is 3, right? But it is open always on right hand side. And then -2 to -1, -2 to -1, it is 8. Okay, so that was this is what I was talking about, symmetric, but not exactly symmetric, because you can see this right side value is open. Okay, so it is not exactly symmetric, but in intervals you're getting same values like 8, 8, 3, 3. Okay, so that kind of symmetry will be there because of the parabola. This parabola is symmetric. All right, so this is going to be the graph. Now these lines will keep increasing like that. Now let me give you, now let's do the next transformation. Okay, when you replace y by greatest integer of y, then what happens? So say y is equal to fx, this is your equation, and after doing this transformation it is going to be greatest integer of y is equal to fx. All right, say this is your fx. This is y-axis. So first I'll explain this, what is going to happen here. See, first of all, in this equation, look at this carefully. So in any equation, if left hand side value is in integer, then right hand side should also be an integer. If left hand side value is positive, then right hand side should also be positive to get solutions, right? Then only equation will be valid. So you can see that greatest integer of y, this is an integer, right? So that means fx must be an integer, then only you'll get solution. So first condition you have got is that fx must be an integer. Okay, but now you need to figure out which output is integer, because fx is not a constant function, so it will be integer, it will be rational number also. So I'll mark those points where this function is integer. Okay, so this point is -2, which is below this. Okay, this is -1 somewhere here, this is -1, 0, and say this is 1, say this is 2, this is 3. All right, like that. So I'll mark the integral values of fx. Okay, so -1 you can see will be occurring at 2 points. Here this function is equal to -1. Here this at this point, for this value of x, fx is 0. For this value of, okay, here this function value is 1. Here this value will be 2. Here this value will be 3. Okay, somewhere here 3. And then 4 will come, and so on, right? So these are the integral values of fx. Okay, so only these points will remain in the domain. Okay, corresponding points. That means this point will be in domain, this point will be in domain, this point will be in domain, this point will be in the domain, this point will be in the domain, this point, and rest of the values of x will vanish. They won't be the input of fx now, because only those inputs you can take where fx is, the output is an integer, because that is going to be equal to greatest integer of y, and then you'll get the final values of y. Okay, for example, say fx is equal to 1. You can see fx is equal to 1 for some point, yeah, x1. Okay, so if you put x is equal to x1, f of x1 is equal to 1. Okay, then you'll get this equation, greatest integer of y is equal to 1. Then what are the values of y? Then y will be belonging to 1 to 2. Y can take any value from 1 to 2. Okay, so when you equate the value, integral value of fx to greatest integer of y, then you will get an interval of y. Okay, an interval of y will be from that integer to next integer. Okay, So you need to draw vertical lines. When you put greatest integer on x, you draw horizontal lines. Then similarly, when you put greatest integer on y, then you need to draw vertical lines. Okay, I'll explain it here again. See, this value is 0, okay? So when you put this input, fx will be 0. When fx is 0, you'll get this equation. Greatest integer of y is equal to 0. And then you'll get y is equal to 1, 0 to 1. 1 will be open, 0. So this value will be 0 to 1. You need to draw vertical line. So y can take any value between 0 to 1, right? Similarly, when fx is equal to 1, then greatest integer of y is equal to 1. And then y will be 1 to 2. So you need to draw this 1 to 2, this line. Similarly, when when fx is equal to 2, then greatest integer of y will be 2 and y will be 2 to 3, like this. Okay. Similarly here also y will be 3 to 4. So you need to draw these vertical lines. Okay. Where are you drawing these vertical lines? Where the value of fx is an integer. Okay. So these were the integral values of fx. So this yellow graph is the graph of greatest integer of. Okay. Remove this original graph of fx, this white part. Okay, this is not the part. So now this remaining graph, yellow part, is the graph of greatest integer of y is equal to fx. Okay, this. Let's draw some more curves. Maybe you would understand. Let us draw. Let's take this example. Greatest integer of y is equal to sine x. Okay, I'll explain again. See, so for solutions, left hand side is an integer, so sin x must be integer, right? So sin x should be an integer. So sin x can take only three values: -1, 0 and 1, right? So whenever sin x is equal to 1, then equation will be greatest integer of y is equal to 1, right? Okay, and then you'll get y belongs to 1 to 2. When will this happen? When sin x is 1. Okay, when sin x is equal to 1. When sin x is 1, then x is equal to, sin x is 1 when x is equal to 4n plus 1 into pi by 2. Okay, so for these values of x, you'll get y from 1 to 2. Are you getting this point? Similarly, you'll get greatest integer of y is equal to -1. Then y will be -1 to 0. All right. And when will this happen? When sin x is equal to -1, or you can say x belongs to 4n minus 1 into pi by 2. Okay. And similarly, greatest integer of y will become 0. That means y will be 0 to 1. All right. And when will this happen? When sin x is equal to 0, and sin x is 0 when x is equal to n pi. So only these points are now in your domain. Okay. N pi, 4n plus 1 pi by 2, and 4n minus 1 pi by 2. So if I combine all these points, then domain of x is n pi by 2. Okay. Combining all these points, x can be written as n pi by 2. So n pi by 2 will include pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, 2 pi, 3 pi. Okay, all these points where sin x is an integer. Okay, so only these points are in the domain. Only these can be the inputs in this equation. If you put any other, like if you put pi by 6 in this, pi by 6, then sin x will be 1 by 2. Sin x will be 1 by 2. Then greatest integer of y is equal to 1 by 2, which is not possible, right? That means you can't put x is equal to pi by 6, all right, or pi by 3, or pi by 4. Okay, any other point other than this and pi by 2. So I hope you must be getting it. Now let's plot it. So so first, what are we going to do? We'll plot the base x, this sin x. Okay, and later we'll remove this sin x, graph of sin x. Okay, so I'll draw with white color. This is sin x. Let's keep drawing. Okay, like this. This is okay, this much. And let's draw here also. Okay, like this. Now you can draw vertical lines. So when sin x is 0, you can plot this 0 to 1 vertical line, because greatest interior of y is equal to 0 means y will be 0 to 1. When sin x is 1, you need to plot this vertical line 1 to 2. Okay. When sin x is 0 again, you need to plot this vertical line 0 to 1. When sin x is minus 1, you need to plot this vertical line again. And then keep drawing this with these vertical lines. Okay. That's it. Done. Okay. So graph will look like this, only vertical lines. Now you can remove this white graph, the base graph, which you plotted. So this is the graph, okay? And you can mention the points as well. This point is 0, this point is pi by 2, this point is pi, this point is 3 pi by 2, this point is 2 pi, this point is 5 pi by 2, this point is 3 pi, alright, and so on. This point is minus pi by 2, this point is minus pi, minus 3 pi by 2, and minus 2 pi. Alright guys, got it? Yeah, so that is going to be the graph. That is going to be the graph. Alright, so now I'll give you one very good example. Try this one. You need to plot the graph of this greatest integer of x plus greatest integer of y is equal to 2. And you need to plot this graph only when x belongs to 0 to 2. That's it. Alright, so let me begin then. So we'll plot this greatest integer of y. Now we have put greatest integer on x and y both. 2 minus greatest integer of x. I'll write this equation like this. Now let's take x from 0 to 1. Now this right hand side is always an integer, left hand side is also an integer, okay? So there's no problem at all. So first break this into interval. If I take x belongs to 0 to 1, okay? Either start with x or y. So it's better to start with x. Then what will be the value of greatest integer of y? Then you will get this equation. Greatest integer of y is equal to 2, because greatest integer of x is equal to 0, and hence you can write y will be belonging to 2 to 3. Okay, when x belongs to 0 to 1. So when x belongs to 0 to 1, for all these, for this whole interval, while y will be between 2 to 3. It's like this. Let me tell you. Simultaneously, let's keep drawing. Okay, so 0 to 1 and 1 to 2. Only you need to plot this much. And actually, this is 1 and this is 2. This line x plus y is equal to 2. This is the baseline, okay? Now you can start with this line also. Sorry. Although there's no role of this line, but still, you can plot just to understand that if this number 2 changes to some other number like 3, 4, 5 or n, then what will happen? Okay, so for that it is important. Okay, so when x belongs to, now I'm drawing it with white color. When x belongs to 0 to 1, okay, 0 to 1, 1 is open. Then y belonging to 1 to 2, 2 to 3, y belonging to 2 to 3. So y will be, yeah, 2 to 3 in this interval, in this interval. So make a box, make a box in which this point will be open. Oh, sorry. This will be 2 to 3. 2 to 3 means not this. We need to plot 3. Okay. Make a box here. Okay. So whenever x takes any value between 0 to 1, greatest integer of x will be 0 and greatest integer of y will be 2, and y will be from 2 to 3. Y will take this value. Okay, so it is true for all these values. You'll get this continuous vertical lines, all right? And when you get these continuous vertical lines, so it is like this is a box. Okay, all these points will satisfy, excluding this boundary, upper boundary and right boundary. Okay, so all these points, okay, all these points will satisfy. What will not satisfy, I'll mark with green. Okay, this line will not satisfy, green line, and this, okay, this boundary, these points will not satisfy. And other than these points, all the points which I have marked with white, including this boundary and the lower boundary, okay, all these points and all these points will satisfy. Okay, complete graph. So you plotted the vertical line, this box represents. Okay, so you pick any point. Let's say this point is 1 by 2, the midpoint 1 by 2, and this point is this is 2, so 2.5. So you can take this point 1 by 2 comma 5 by 2. Okay, put in this equation 1 by 2 comma 5 by 2. So greatest integer of 1 by 2 is 0 and greatest integer of 5 by 2 is 2. So 2 is equal to 2, right? So every point of this box will satisfy. Are you getting this point? Now you need to plot it in 1 to 2 also. So 1 to 2, let's plot in 1 to 2. So when x belongs to 1 to 2, when x belongs to 1 to 2, then equation will become, this equation will become greatest integer of y is equal to 2 minus 1, which is 1, right? 2 minus 1, and this means y will be between 1 to 2. Now y will be between 1 to 2. So now this is going to happen, this white and this white, 1 to 2. Okay, and this upper boundary I'll again plot with green color. This is not included and this is not included. Okay, x is equal to 2 is not included, y is equal to 2 is not included, and other than all the points of this box will satisfy, right? These are vertical lines, continuous vertical lines, so all the points inside this box will satisfy. All right, this is the graph. It's a region basically, right? It's a region. So this region will satisfy, this region will satisfy. Okay, Okay. Although sometimes they ask what is the area represented by this curve in first quadrant. So in first quadrant, you'll have to do some more work. Okay. What is that? That means if x belongs to 2 to 3, then what will happen? When x belongs to 2 to 3, then equation will be greatest integer of x is equal to 2 minus 2. That means 0. Then y will be between 0 to 1. So this portion will also come. Okay. When x belongs to 2 to 3. When x belongs to 2 to 3. So just plot this green color. So this green color boundary is not included. All right. Green color boundary is not included in this portion, and this white region, white region points represented by white color, okay, will satisfy the equation. These points will satisfy. Okay, these points will satisfy. So I hope you have got it. You know how these boxes are created? Where are we creating these boxes? Actually, we are creating these boxes just above this line, right? Whenever this line reaches to an integral coordinate, see here, yeah, -1. This point is going to be 3 comma -1. Okay. So here we'll create the next box. Now this line will reach to 4 comma -2. Here will be your next box. All right. And so on. So this is the baseline on which you are creating these boxes. So that's why I have plotted this line, x plus y is equal to 2 line. All right. So if you want to plot the next box, then now you don't need to write this equation again and again. You just keep plotting like this. All right. The next box will be like this. All right. Next box will be like this. Okay. And this boundary will be open, upper boundary and right side. Okay. So all these points will satisfy. These points will satisfy. So now these graphs are in fourth quadrant. Similarly, in third quadrant, this complete graph will lie. The graph of this. It will keep going. Okay, it will keep going. You can draw this from minus infinity to plus infinity. So if they ask you the area of the region represented by this equation in first quadrant, then what is your answer? Your answer will be area of this is 1, area of this is 1, area of this is 1, right? So answer will be 3. Okay. They can give you an interval or in terms of x, or in quadrant wise they can ask, and they can ask the area of this. So I hope you have got it. All right. It's a very beautiful graph. Now I'll do some change in this. Okay. I'll do one change. So how would the graph of this look like? Mod of x, I'm putting mod also now. So many transformations plus, but you can use symmetry. All right. Mod of y is equal to 2. Greatest integer of mod of x, greatest integer of mod of y, all right, is equal to 2. You can use this reference. You can use this graph. If you understood this, then you can plot this next one also easily. Let's do it. Try this one. All right. So now let me plot this same line again. X plus y is equal to 2. All right. And that much graph, because in first quadrant, mod of x is x and mod of y is y. So this equation will be same as the previous one. Greatest interior of x plus greatest interior of y is equal to 2. All right. So that means you need to plot the same curve. Same curve means same boxes, okay, which you have plotted earlier in the previous slide. This one, right? Three boxes you need to plot. One is between uh, x coordinate between 1 to 2. Wait a minute. Let's make it clearly. This is 1 and this is 2 and this is 3. All right. So yeah, 1 to 2. All right. These were the boxes, and outer boundary was not included, so I'm just plotting this boundary with some other color. This white color, okay, region will be representing the equation. Only white color. These outer boundary of the boxes will not satisfy the equation. I hope you're getting it. Now these are your points, okay. This is the region. This was the region. So it's a previous graph. Basically, I'm just copying it. Okay, I've already explained it. I'm just copying it. Now what will happen after this? That is an important point, okay. What will happen if you put mod on x and mod on y? So you must be remembering. So now you must know how these points transforms, what kind of symmetry comes when you put a mod on x as well as on y. All right, now you need to understand that. Now this point is say this point is 3, this point is 1, this point is 2. Sorry, I'm sorry. This point is 1, this point is 2, and this point is 3. All right. So this is the graph. This is the graph in first quadrant. Now what will happen if you replace x by mod of x? So graph becomes symmetric about y-axis, right? Y-axis. And when you replace y by mod of y, then graph becomes symmetric about x-axis. All right. So when you replace x by mod of x and mod y by mod of y, then graph will be symmetric in all four quadrants. Okay, symmetric about x and symmetric about y means symmetric in all four quadrants. So that means you need to plot this line, this blue line, base line here also. Okay, here also, and here also. Okay, and make these boxes all around this. Okay, like this. Like this. Okay, I'm just plotting it. Almost done, almost done. Just have a look. It's a very beautiful graph. Let's I'm plotting it carefully. Okay. Now just plot the region by white color. Okay. So this is the boundary. This is the region. Sorry, and then this one. All right. This one. This complete region. Okay. Complete region. Fill this. Fill this box. Okay, this white color. Blue color boundary is not blue. The boundary which is by blue color, that won't those points will not satisfy. All right, all this white color boundary as well as inside region of box, all these points will satisfy. Okay, all these points will satisfy. Okay, so got it. So this box will come, this box will come. Okay, this box will come, this box will come, this box will come, this box will come. So now you can see what is the area. If I ask you the area represented by greatest interior of X mod represented by this basically. Okay, that is 1 2 3 3 into 3 into 3 into 3, so 3 into 4, right? That is 12 square units. Have you got it? That's a very beautiful graph, right? So I hope you understood. Now suppose if you have this equation, X greatest interior of X mod of, let's generalize it. Okay, so you can answer it always easily. Greatest interior of mod of X plus greatest interior of mod of Y is equal to n. Okay, now how many boxes will come? N is an integer, n is a natural number. Okay, n is a natural number, n belongs to a natural number. Now what is the area represented by this? Area of the region represented by all the points which satisfy this equation. So let me tell you how to generalize it. You just need to figure it out in first quadrant, and then you know there's a symmetry. So using symmetry, you can just multiply it by 4. Okay. So how many boxes are there in the first quadrant? So now you can see when you draw this line, then this line will cut the x-axis at n comma 0. Before in the previous example, it was cutting at 2 comma 0, right? So n comma 0, and this was 0 comma 0, and this is 0 comma n. All right. So if you divide 1 2 3 and so on up to n minus 1, so boxes will come like this. I'll plot the box. So this will be your first. Okay, this will be your first box, then this will be your second box, which will be from 2 to 3. All right, and so on. Okay, and this will be your last box. This is going to be your last box. So how many boxes will be there? How many boxes you would need to, how many boxes you will create? Outer boundary, as in the previous example, will not be included. All right, and this one, right? So how many boxes will be there? Can you figure out? So when you had this x plus y is equal to 2, you had 3 boxes. If you take x plus y is equal to 3, you'll have 4 boxes, right? Because it is going up to n plus 1. You can see when x belongs to n plus 1, then greatest interior of x will be n, and then y will be 0, greatest interior of y will be 0, and then y will be 0 to 1, right? So that is the last box. So first box is in 0 to 1, and the last box is in n to n plus 1, right? 1, 2, 3, and so on, n minus 1. So you can see n plus 1. How many n plus 1 boxes are there? I'm calling this box, right? So using symmetry, now there is symmetric in all 4 quadrant. Graph is symmetric in all four quadrant. Okay, so what n area of one box is 1 square unit, so area of n plus 1 box is n plus 1 square unit. So symmetric in all quadrants, so total area is equal to 4 times of area in first quadrant, so that is n plus 1, right? N plus 1 boxes, so n plus 1 square units area, right? So answer is 4 times of n plus 1. So if you understand this theory completely, then you can answer it quickly, right? You don't need to struggle. Whenever there's such equation is given, greatest interior of x is equal to mod is there. I missed this mod. So greatest interior of mod of x plus greatest interior of mod of y is equal to 3. Say 3. Okay, it should be an integer first of all, a natural number in fact. So greatest interior of mod of x plus greatest interior of mod of y is equal to 3. So immediately you can answer, oh, its area is 4 into 4 into 4 into 4. 4 boxes will be there in first quadrant, and then 4 boxes 4 into 4 will be 16. So answer is going to be 16. All right, got it. So this is what we need to do. One last graph. One last graph of greatest interior. So greatest interior of y is equal to greatest interior of sine x. All right. Now I'm putting greatest interior on y as well as greatest interior on fx. All right. And you need to plot this graph when x belongs to 0 to 2 pi. That's it. So this is our last question. Try this one. Alright guys, so I hope you have got it. Let's plot it then. Because we need to plot the graph only between 0 to 2 pi. Okay, so between 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi. First, let's plot greatest interior of y. Y is equal to greatest interior of sine x. So y is equal to greatest interior of sine x was like this. It was 0 for all these values between 0 to pi, and minus 1 for all these values between up to 2 pi. So whenever you have greatest interior of y is equal to 0, y will be between 0 to 1. Okay, that means for these three values 1, and this complete these values and this, you know. So for this point here, your graph is going to be like a box, like all these vertical lines will come. Yeah, of course, excluding one point. What is that point? Let's mark it with yellow. Let's mark it with blue color. Okay, so this point is open, and this boundary, let me plot. These boundary points will not satisfy. Yeah, but this boundary will not be there because pi is included. Take pi also, sine x is 0. 1 minute, guys. Okay, so all these vertical lines will come except this one line. Okay, so I'm just making a space here, although that one line will be will not be visible, but just to show you I am creating that space. Okay, that gap, just to show you. So that one line will be here between 1 to 2. This will be the line. Okay, at pi by 2, and then between pi to 2 pi, at 2 pi there will be again this line, vertical line, 0 to 1, and all these lines will be now excluding this. Let me draw this boundary with blue color. This will not be there, this will not be there, and all the points inside this box will be there. Okay, all these points. So that is the graph. I hope you understood. So they can ask you the area, and for when you're finding the area, you can leave these vertical lines. Okay, these two vertical lines, because area of these two vertical lines is going to be 0. So you can write area. This area is pi units, pi square units, and this area is also pi square units. So you can answer this area is going to be 2 pi square units. All right, guys, 2 pi square units is your area. I hope it is clear. So these were the transformations when you put greatest interior on x, y, or on fx. Now similar kind of transformations we are going to do with fractional part functions, and after that in the end we'll do signum function. All right, signum function. So fractional part will start in our next session. Okay, thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed watching it, then surely like it. Do not forget to like it. All right, thank you very much.